Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 5. And this mama is ready for trauma, because that's what we're getting this volume. And as I've stated in the past reactions, I actually think this is a very good thing. Not only for character development and growth that we've already seen plenty of throughout this series, but in terms of specifically Ruby's character, with where she's at, her loss of hope, her loss of Penny twice now, which I'm still upset about, and her just overall feeling of worthlessness, basically. Because with everything going on with Salem and finding out that, she can't be at least beaten in the conventional sense, Ruby doesn't really have faith that they can do this. And this is the girl who started off the series saying things like, this is what we are doing. This is our job as huntresses, to protect and save and everything. And it's like, even early on, like, I think it's when she first meets Blake. Blake asks her, it's like, you think you're going to be able to save everyone and help make the world a better place or whatnot? And Blake and Ruby's like, yeah, that's why we're here. And Blake's like, that's pretty ambitious for a child. And it's like, I keep thinking about lines like that and how positive and hopeful Ruby had always been. Having her come this far down is a big deal for her character. More so than with any of the other characters, I feel, because of where she started. Because of all the hope that she used to have. It's literally kind of been her thing. She's that kind of character who was filled with hope, who was built upon that idea. So to have her fall this far is important. It helps her feel real, honestly. It helps her feel like a real person who's going through some really heavy, fucked up shit. And so getting to see how far she's falling will allow her to rise up even further. And like I said, I talked about this before. I talked about all of this on how I think this character arc is fantastic for her. But I really do believe that. And last episode really kind of showcased how that's working. We see that while all the others had their moments of triumph, not only coming to terms with all of the issues and problems of their past and everything that they've been having doubts about, they rose above it. They fought against that doubt and were able to view themselves and who and what they are as huntresses in a much more positive light. And Ruby almost took the deal, you could say. She almost went along with what the herbalist was kind of making her see. And who knows what that would have done in the end. Who knows how that would have affected things. Ruby would be in a much darker place than she already is, and she's in a very fucking dark place right now. But like I had said previously, in order to start moving up, she needs to hit rock bottom. She needs to face the absolute worst inner turmoil that she possibly can. And with that literal inner struggle last episode, I think that's kind of the breaking point for her. But this, once again, will help her rise back up and become a stronger huntress and person than ever before. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes now, because we've got a lot of things that have been built up, a lot of elements to the Ever After that have been talked about but have not been shown yet. And it's going to be interesting to see how this really comes to a head, because we're heading into the midway point of the season. And I feel like things have got to start changing to some degree here. Things have really start to they have to start getting more intense, more exciting, more dramatic, and even more just upsetting. Um, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this goes. There's a lot of things we haven't really touched on enough yet. Like, we've only gotten a little brief stuff with Neo. We haven't seen Jean yet. Um, we're kind of seeing that this is taking place after the events of Alex. But there's a lot of questions that are still brought up. There was this, was it a carpenter or something that was brought up as well? Or blacksmith or something like that. They were brought up as well at one point, maybe a couple points, but they're in the opening too, I know. There's just a bunch of stuff that still has to happen, and of course we've still got to get back. So, yeah, I'm very curious as to where we're going next and what we're going to come across next, but hopefully it's going to continue to be as honestly great as this volume has been. I've heard some people complaining about this volume feeling so different and so out of place compared to previous ones. And it's like, that's one, kind of the point. You're literally in Wonderland. You're in the Ever After, and it's literally a fairy tale world. It's going to feel very different. And you're seeing how the characters interact with it, but also the aftermath of the fall of Atlas, which was insanely upsetting. With everything that happened during the last two volumes, Ironwood's just leap into insanity, Cinder basically winning, Penny's sacrifice, everything is just going to take a huge toll on them. It's going to affect things. It's not something that they can just get over super easily. So yeah, this is going to have a very different feel to it because of that. And I think having this transitional volume before we move on is kind of important. It's going to allow things to breathe a little better. It sucks that we're not getting to see Emerald and Winter and Oscar and Nora and Ren and all of them on the other side. We're not seeing what's going to happen to them. But when we do reunite with them, that's going to be really fascinating. It's going to be like, how have they grown as well outside of this all? And what has been happening outside of this all? So I'm very invested in what this volume is doing, but we're just going to get into it. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So that confirmed a theory. There was this theory going around. I'm sure a lot of you might have heard of it, but there's this theory that time doesn't work the same in the Ever After as it does on Remnant. That, like, even as we saw, Neo seemed to get there a bit later than Ruby, despite the fact that they fell at the same time. So it was kind of like the thought was kind of brought up, the theory of what if time doesn't necessarily work the same way, and the time that they fell does not equate to the time that they've been there. And this confirms that, because Jean is older. He is notably older. He's been here a while. And it's not entirely clear how long, but I would say he's at least 10 years older. He's been here for a long time. And he was like the last one to fall, which kind of proves that the time thing is all wonky and whatnot. He was the last one to fall, but the first one to arrive, and he arrived so far before the others, which it's a good thing that all of Team RWBY arrived right around the same period of time. That would have been really an issue excuse me. It would have been an issue otherwise. So Jean then is possibly the same rusted knight from the time of Alex, when she had come to the Ever After. Which, yeah, that definitely means he's probably been here quite a while. He obviously, I would assume, became much stronger. At the same time, he found a mount and everything. And you know what this reminds me of? And this is gonna like be a wild thing for some of you to for me to bring up here. Star versus the forces of evil. I'm sorry, it's just it's what I thought of, and it's like I know the show went to shit, but there was that episode where Marco was dimension hopping for I think it was 10 years. And he was hanging out with Hekapu and stuff, and he became older and, buff and everything. And he had the other friend, the woman, Brunzetta, I think her name was, who Star also had a massive crush on. It was basically the episode that confirmed Star is bi. Um, but it's like, Marco, then, when he went back to Earth, it reset him. He became young again. He was no longer adult. He was no longer super buff. He was back to his normal, I believe, 14-year-old self. So I'm wondering if the same thing's going to happen to Jean. Because Jean's clearly been here a long time. He's much older here. And he has the beard and everything. His hair is longer. And I think it had some gray in it. So it might even be more than 10 years. But the thing is, when they go back to Remnant, will Jean return to normal? I kind of assume he has to, right? That would be insane if he remained older from here on out. Like, if he just wasn't able to turn back. That would change so much. I mean, Nora and Ren would still accept him back with open arms. That wouldn't change. They would still love him just as much as they do. But without question, that's still going to affect things if that is the case. So I'm hoping that he does return to his natural state. To his younger self, I guess. Natural state's the wrong way to put it. But another thing I noticed, and that made me really fucking sad, was that he named the cat thing, the cat deer, which also, by the way, like Princess Mononoke, anyone? Which we know RWBY is inspired by a lot of like anime and whatnot, so I would not be surprised if that is just directly a Princess Mononoke reference. It's kind of similar to the mountain there, but also you could make a comparison to Legend of Korra as well, with the cat deer in Avatar 1's flashbacks. There are definitely comparisons to be made there. But he named it Juniper. And it's like, the Team Juniper hasn't existed since Pyrrha's death. And it's like, because it's specifically Juniper, it just instantly, like, this wave of sadness washed over me. And it didn't bring me back to Pyrrha's death. It specifically brought me back to Volume 6 with the statue of Pyrrha that they saw when they were in the town. The part where Jean kind of got closure with Pyrrha's death. And it was a really big moment with him, Nora, and Ren. And we even got to see Pyrrha's mom. But yeah, it brought me back to that and how emotional that scene was. And it's like it got me emotional. It got me really sad. I've kind of come, and I know a lot of other people have too. I've kind of started referring to Oscar as like a member of their team now, and I've been referring to them as Orange because of that. Oscar is O, Ren is R, Nora and Jean. It's like it works and it fits the color themes and everything. It works extremely well. So I've been kind of referring to them as that, but even before that, it was kind of just like either Ranger or Junior when they were with Ruby and everything. And it's like, yeah, it's just they haven't been Team Juniper since Pyrrha's death, and so naming the mount after after Team Juniper, and with that connection to Pyrrha, with that, it's like that just that got me emotional. But it's like when the let's talk about the Jabberwocker. When the Jabberwocker turned into petals or everything, or the Neo effect, it's like my first thought was, oh, okay, it's dead now. My I didn't even think about the Neo thing. It's like, okay, so Neo's semblance we did see has evolved, and it's really evolved here. So there's only one Jabberwocker, but it's her semblance has evolved in a way to where it's been able to clone people basically, and that's what we're seeing here: physical clones that are powerful enough to basically have the same effect. They have physical presence, and they can kill you just as easily. And it's very much implied multiple characters died in this. Multiple of the residents of the Ever After and the garden specifically died here. And while the rest of Team RWBY did get back to normal size, it really came at a cost. Like, that was extremely heavy and tragic. And even though we found out that the denizens of the Ever After don't die, they're basically reincarnated. It's still basically death. We find out this at the beginning of the episode because we find out through the cat that the herbalist, that's what happened when they fell down into the bottom of the mushroom. They were being taken away to be reincarnated, basically. And that raises a lot of questions. Who is doing this? Is it the blacksmith, maybe? Because we saw the blacksmith in this episode too, and it's like they were very creepy and very concerning. They are definitely going to be a force going forward. Are they behind it? Are they like the people, or the person watching over the Ever After? It doesn't seem like the theory about them being Alex is true. That seems to be debunked with this. But I don't know. I'm getting very bad vibes from them based on this episode. They just seemed very hostile, for lack of a better word. I do not trust them or like them at all. And the fact that RWBY was seemingly standing there, but her mind was taken to their forge, and like that, I'm just freaked out by all of it. I don't know if they are the ones behind this reincarnation spiel, but maybe it's possible. I don't think the gods are around here. I don't think that has anything to do with this. I don't think that's involved in it. I just don't think that's the case. Because that was a theory I've seen some people have, and I really don't think that's the case. But we're seeing that shit's starting to get real. Shit's starting to get pretty real. It's like the episodes up to now have basically just been the journey to like kind of discovering the different areas of the Ever After and the different kinds of characters. But it's like we started to get a little bit a couple episodes ago with Neo coming and everything, and now we have the reveal of an older Jean as the Rusted Knight and the Jabberwocker clones We don't even know if the real one's there. But the Jabberwocker clones coming in and killing a bunch of beings. The Hawk character, the bird guy, is most likely dead. Well, reincarnated more than likely, but still. Um, it's like the cat's kind of up in the air. Looks like a lot of shit is just not going well right now. Um, so we're gonna have to see how this goes, but I assume next episode we're probably gonna get Jean's story. What happened after he first came here, and everything he's been doing since he arrived, and all of these years and everything. I don't know if the entire episode next time is going to be a flashback. Probably not. But if it were, if the entire episode was just a flashback explaining Jean's presence and everything he had done, we might even see Alex next time. Because he clearly interacted with Alex when she was here. So maybe we'll get kind of a duo backstory episode showing Alex and him. And that could be really good. And I think it's the right time to introduce that too. Because it'll be episode 6. And then there's only a few episodes after that because there's only 10 this season. I think that that would be a good time to kind of bring that into play. Episode 6 would be to start off the second half of the season. Ending off the first half of the season with the reveal of Jean as the rest of the night, even though we all knew it was coming, it was still a good reveal because the characters didn't know. You saw their reactions, and I have to wonder what is going through Weiss's mind, because I believe she called the rest of the night. I think last episode, I think she called him handsome. Like, I think what was said is that there was, like, I think they were talking about the blacksmith, too, which it's like, I think she said the blacksmith was kind and the rest of the night is handsome, and it's like, okay, one, this blacksmith does not seem fucking kind. This blacksmith is scary as fuck. Two, you just said Jean is handsome. It's funny because of Jean used to have a major crush on Weiss, and although he did get over that, it's like, she never had a thing for him. She never reciprocated that at all. And she grew to like him as a friend, but she just never really, liked him. But it's still funny. It's still really funny, the idea of, like, what Weiss must be thinking about that reveal. And I want to go back and look at this real quick. I'm not going to show it on here because of copyright stuff, possible copyright stuff. Okay, I want to see this cat deer thing. So yeah, it's not really a cat exactly. It has like some features that could be seen as cat-like, but it's more deer-like. But it's really fucking pretty. Like, holy shit. But then you see Sean. So when he first takes off the helmet, he's facing away. His hair is tied back. So his hair is actually longer than we see. It's tied back with a red ribbon. I wonder if the red ribbon's important somehow. But then he turns around and you see it's him. Like, it's very clearly him. And he is definitely older. Even just aside from the beard and the hair, like, there is some white streaks in the hair. But, like, you can even see that there's lines on his face that show that he is notably older. And mind you, people age differently. And some people can age a lot faster under pressure and stress. If he's been here, even if it's just been, like, 10 years, a lot of stress could cause that. But you see kind of like this relief on his face, too. He looks like relieved to see them. And I'm sure he is. If he's been there for like over a decade and stuff, like he probably thought they were dead. And who knows what else he'd been thinking, so. But yeah, you then see their reactions when they find out, like Blake's ears drop and they all just kind of recoil back in shock. And you kind of see, okay, you're seeing Weiss's head. It's kind of like cocking to the side ever so slightly, like just confusion on all of their faces, and then it just cuts off. I'm really interested to see where that goes next time for sure, though. God, this cat deer thing is just so fucking majestic and gorgeous. I want one. If they need to make a plush of it, okay? They need to make a fucking plush of the cat deer. Of I keep just referring to it as that it has a name. I just don't want to use its name because it makes me sad. They should definitely make a plush of Juniper though. Juniper is so fucking precious. Like so precious. I want like 10 of them right now. But this was another really good episode. It had great action. I liked this marketplace, this lake marketplace. I liked the fact that we do like get to see them, you know, grow into their regular sizes, but we also get like some lore with how this world works in regards to death, basically. And we get to see as well the reintroduction of Jean and clear changes in regards to all of that. But the fact that he still remembers them and looks so fucking relieved to see them even after all this time. I'm wondering if he's questioning the fact that if he's going to start questioning the fact that they still look young, or if he's just kind of understood how things work a little more since he came here, if he has been here for so long. There's so many questions I'm having. And I'm wondering about one thing, in regards to stuff I've already said. We see that the Red Prince used to be the Red King, right? We find that out for sure here. It had kind of been heavily implied last episode, but we get that information for sure. The Red Prince used to be the Red King, but because he was too nice and ended up becoming too good of a person, he was rewritten. Whatever forces controlling the Ever After took him and turned him into this selfish prince who would just try to win his game at any cost, because that was the role he was supposed to play. Thus goes the story. To take something from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean there, Bohemian Rhapsody was a fucking wild stand. But thus goes the story. That's how he's supposed to be. So he was reset to be like that. The herbalist, as we saw last time, lost his way. So he was reset, which is what we saw at the end there. And now we're kind of seeing that could be a possibility for maybe the blacksmith. The blacksmith was described previously as being kind. What if the fact that the blacksmith is fucking terrifying and ominous as hell is because they were reset? What if they are not supposed to be kind, just like the king wasn't supposed to be kind? They were reset and they were made to be this ominous, troublesome force. That's a possibility that I think we have to take into account. This is definitely going to get much more intense in the second half. Like, there's been some pretty wild shit in this first half, but the second half of the season is definitely about to get a lot more intense and a lot more... I don't want to say plot focused, because it's all been pretty plot focused, but you know what I mean. It's about to get a lot more focused, a lot more getting down to business kind of situation. I think we're really going to head into the meat of this arc, I guess you could call it. The meat of this volume. And it's going to get pretty wild, because Neo's already making her move. And I'm still under the thought that I don't think Neo's going to get redeemed. Because there is the question still in the fandom, is Neo going to get redeemed? Is she going to die? It's one of the two, pretty much, everyone agrees on, from what I've seen. But I think most people are saying, like, they don't think, at least from what I've seen, that they don't think Neo is getting out of the Ever After. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think she is. I think that this volume is going to be the end of Neo. But I could be wrong, and as long as they do it well, which, again, they've already been doing extremely well this season, as long as they do it well, I'm fine with almost anything. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. If Neo gets redeemed, as long as they do it well, awesome. I can dig a good redemption. If Neo dies, then okay. Maybe it'll end up being like Zhao from Avatar: The Last Airbender, like offered redemption at the very end, but refuses it and gets dragged away into death. Except Zhao ended up in the Fog of Lost Souls. I don't know if that's going to happen with Neo, but and I'm wondering if I don't know if they said anything. Like I might have missed something when they were explaining the Jabberwocker and all. If the Jabberwocker kills someone, are they still reborn? If I missed that, please let me know. Because if it's said in the episode, please let me know if I missed that. But if it didn't say or anything, I don't want to know. If it didn't say specifically in the episode, I don't want spoilers. If the Jabberwocker kills someone, do they still come back? And if someone who's not normally from the Ever After dies, what happens to them? Do they come back? Because they don't have like a goal. They don't have a mission. Oh, also, this connects to what Little was saying. Little was saying before, I don't have a purpose yet. Little didn't know their purpose, didn't know what they were meant for, so that's why they agreed to like guide Team RWBY and everything. They're like, I don't have a purpose yet. And RWBY even like questioned that, like, yet? And it's like the purpose. We now understand what the purposes are about. And that the beings have to follow the purpose, the denizens of the Ever After, or they get reformed. Which is very fucking creepy if you think about the term reformation in that regards. Forced reformation is fucking terrifying as a concept. But that just connects to that. So how are they supposed to get their purpose? Is it given to them? What is that going to mean? And could that mean, what if Little ends up getting a purpose that conflicts with Team RWBY? That could be interesting. Oh, I have so many thoughts about that, but I'm going to end it here. I'm going to end it here. There's so many thoughts. I don't want to theory craft too much because I don't want to possibly spoil myself by ending up being proven right on anything. I don't like doing that. Like, I consider that spoilers, but obviously it's self-spoiling and obviously just guessing something, but still. I don't actually want that to happen most of the time. I know I'm fucking weird, but I really do not like spoilers, so it's like... But yeah, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of RWBY Volume 9, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.